一覧朝日も降りしくで一覧ね俺は
Recently, Chantal or Foodie beauty reactors Charlie Goad and Farrah Fiasco discussed a Chantal viewer, or Beezer, who goes by the name YTLover. During her October 10th livestream, Charlie Goat made the following claim.
The reason I actually inserted YTLover's comment is because there's been speculation, and I believe there's proof that at one point it was answered that YTLover doesn't stand for YouTube lover, it stands for white lover. And I know there's been creators to see it, but some people just happen to not save it. And it doesn't shock me at all in any way, especially because they have actually said some questionable things in her chat before.
And on October 13th, Farrah Fiasco repeated the claim, with an additional flourish.
Look at her chat right now. Do you see white lover? Now we know white lover is a little racist, right? Do you guys know who that is? Because I'm going to tell you in a minute. Take a guess. White lover is gaining ground.
Neither provided proof for their assertions, so I went digging. Let's just say there's a touch of conspiratorial thinking, which of course appealed to me as a scholar and a crank. The assertion seems to follow from a May 23rd video uploaded by reactor Bad Seed, which forms the axis mondo of this discussion. First, a disclaimer. Since Bad Seed does not claim that YTLover is a sock account for a Florida-based Uranian, I will not be pursuing the issue. Nor do I seek to unmax YTLover. Rather, I'm simply curious how Bad Seed constructs her arguments and explore the various frequencies of dog whistles in the Gorl World community. This is, of course, despite a recent appearance on the quad at Texas Christian University, which might suggest I'm not entirely disinterested. Before we dig into the video, however, let's get something of a handle on Bad Seed's perspective with respect to Chantal and Chantal's Beezers. Bad Seed faces a problem experienced by many Chantal reactors, the desire to upload daily reaction content, despite the fact that Chantal's content is generally dull, though punctuated with outrage. One could, of course, diversify one's content. Reactor Pulpy Syntax, for instance, has always supplemented Chantal content with his proper, abiding passion. Bad Seed, however, elects to keep the focus tightly on Chantal, which can unfortunately lead to dubious proposals and conclusions in the pursuit of outrage. And in doing so, she presents herself as some mix of Samael and Tom Landry Middle School hall monitor Emily, always ready to pounce on perceived misdeeds by Chantal and her community. Unfortunately, the combination of suffocatingly narrow focus with the need for routine outrage can lead to conspiratorial thinking and brittle, jittery paranoia. The Institute can certainly sympathize with Bad Seed's dilemma, being itself a possible survivor of adrenochrome harvesting by a cabal of late-night, light entertainment presenters in coordination with the. That is, this is an easy perspective to slip into. One need realize only that Chantal is the sort of fundamentally perverse entity normally reserved for Joe Chick tracks and the supporters of noted architect Ivo Shander.
Cthulhu vertagen. Cthulhu vertagen. Cthulhu vertagen. Cthulhu.
Bad Seed, for instance, has asserted that Chantal's, possibly former, partner's family are affiliated with Syrian terrorist networks. This seems a matter of geographic convenience, as the assertion follows from both the family and the terrorist networks being Syrian. Specifically, Bad Seed was concerned the family might be supporting the Taliban, which she asked ChatGPT about. It's not clear whether she understood that the Taliban is based in, and happily confined to, non-Syrian country Afghanistan. Still, having seen something, Bad Seed elected to say something, alerting American security agencies, such as the Department of Homeland Security and the Super Bowl, as to the possible terrorist activities of a Canadian woman eating fried chicken in the Middle East. Bad Seed also suspects that Chantal's then-partner may have been a Syrian insurrectionist, based on a rather ambivalent response from ChatGPT. In keeping with the spirit of social progressivism, a Bad Seed ally helpfully pointed out any similarity in appearance between the insurrectionist and the partner may simply follow from ethnic minorities, all looking alike, due to generations of inbreeding. Bad Seed has also found Chantal at least partially responsible for the deaths of Syrian Christians in the civil conflict, as well as corpses dumped in a gorge, whom she elected to share and censored on X. And possibly an earthquake in Thailand, which resulted in the deaths of over 100 people. Also, Chantal is basically her own McMartin drop-off center, minus hot air balloon rides and guest appearances by Chuck Norris. Of course, this is only logical, given Chantal's emanations as Gorgo, Mormo, the thousand-faced moon, consort of Attis and maid of gloom. Given Chantal's responsibility for the deaths of thousands and the destruction of Syrian and Thai infrastructure, it's worth interrogating those who benefit from her ongoing shenanigans. One could, for instance, speculate about the sort of person who might seek to benefit off the back of a woman who abuses children and basically kicked off a civil conflict in Syria. What sort of person would voluntarily participate in a Mother of Abominations-based economy? Worse, one considers the sort of person like YTLover, whose relationship is purely social, not even coming away from the daily encounter with a bit of blood money to enjoy. Now that we understand Bad Seed's perspective and goals a bit better, let's dig into YTLover, who is obviously the real monster. During a May 23rd livestream, YTLover gets into a squabble with another Beezer in Chantal's chat. Bad Seed wavers initially on the precise source of the conflict.
And for some reason, they came into this video in the chat and they were causing problems. I think they were talking about Project 2025 and all, I don't know, just YTLover being a troublemaker.
One's mileage may vary as to whether YTLover was promoting Project 2025, though I have linked the chat in the description.
Then somebody came in here and called them out about their YouTube handle name, saying that it wasn't actually YTLover and that it's YTLover. So like YTLover. So basically that's like a white supremacist thing. It's a white supremacist handle, which it didn't even click in my brain.
While Bad Seed is convinced, it's not entirely clear that one may safely conclude that YTLover endorses the Lost Cause, anti-miscegenation laws, and North Face apparel. While one might appeal to the FBI or Anti-Defamation League, Bad Seed has a far more reliable source.
My daughter just happened to be in the kitchen when this was going on, and she's like, yeah, that's like a white supremacist thing when you say whitey, which I guess this is like a newer thing on TikTok or whatever. I have no idea.
We'll take a look shortly at what happened when I went searching for YTLovers on YouTube. It was shocking, to say the least. YTLover declines to defend their choice of handle, which has strong implications for Bad Seed.
If that's not what it represents, then say it doesn't mean that. The fact that you would come on here and say none of your business is suspect.
Personally, I'm not sure YTLover's decision is any more suspect than a woman who uses corpses for fodder and makes money off someone she believes to be a pedophile. One of Bad Seed's more amusing traits, seen here in real time, is not knowing something, learning about something, then proceeding as if that thing ought to be self-evident.
Well, then somebody says, I learned something new here. Whitey means white. I mean, whitey. Whitey? Come on. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe all of us were calling YTLover YTLover because that's what Chantal was calling them. Whether she recognized that to be YT, I don't know, but I think that's probably why I'm doing it and many other people do it, but clearly it's YTLover.
Along with her daughter, Bad Seed finds an additional, legally recognized expert in racist dog whistles. In this case, another Beezer, though likely more well known as the tambourine player for groovy underwater band the Neptunes.
Shelley says YT is short for white on TikTok. So I'm sure Chantal is aware of this. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if she partakes in the white supremacist side of TikTok. Just admit it. You're racist.
Perhaps this is simply a case of bad seed failing to remove the plank from her own eye, given that we've seen her promote the notion that Levantine folk are terrorist by default, in addition to being visually indistinguishable. Unfortunately, as we heard earlier, bad seed supposition becomes fact. Let's revisit that Farrah Fiasco clip one mo again.
Look at her chat right now. Do you see YTLover? Now we know YTLover is a little racist, right?
This too may be another fine example of a plank situation type deal, given Farrah Fiasco's comments about Middle Eastern men on her Kiwi Farms account. Neither the men of the Middle East, or as Farrah terms them, sand niggers, nor non-sand niggers escape Farrah's withering judgment. I assume she got whistled at in a Delta General store once. Quite frankly, I'm more disturbed by the fact that Farrah, an advocate of person-first language given her background in special education, failed to use the more sensitive term niggers of sand. Of course, none of this resolves the matter of whether YTLover is necessarily code for YouTube supremacy. So I did a search on YouTube for the sorts of people associating themselves with the handle YTLover, and even reached out to a few, after contacting the FBI and the NFL. This bridging the gap, as it were, in turn translated into action. It was a remarkable and humbling experience to see YTLovers from all over Asia come together in Paris to protest the notion that they're upholding and reinforcing YT supremacy. Following best practices developed during the Mizzou and BLM protests, Mayo ghouls were encouraged to form a human shield around the more melanated and necessarily more vulnerable protesters. It's a shame the protest didn't receive more coverage, apart from this video. So where does this leave us? In this video, we have explored the consequences of conspiratorial thinking. We have seen what happens when we fail to consider alternative, often simpler, likely less provocative, solutions. Is it possible YTLover is a white supremacist? Absolutely. Thus far, however, Bad Seed has presented us only with confirmation bias, supplemented by expert testimony from her daughter and the least likable member of the Jabberjaws family. The Institute is, and always has been, an advocate for critical thinking, for the sake of never getting one's anti-5G knickers in a twist, unless needed. One must remain vigilant against groupthink, which we are all vulnerable to, particularly given our routine exposure to various environmental toxins such as fluoridated water, soy products, and tropical fantasy soda. Of course, this is what they want us to do, to sweat the small stuff as it were, rather than fighting those who peddle these various poisons. I am, of course, referring to the